Hello students, this is Miss Dalton and this is video 10.2, Adding and Subtracting Rationals. Okay, as we're adding and subtracting rational expressions, you need to remember that when you add or subtract a fraction, you need to get a common denominator. So the first step is to factor each of the numerator and denominator completely. Then you want to get a common denominator. Now, to do this, you will use the highest degree of each factor in all denominators. Every factor must be used in the common denominator. So I'll talk about this as we're working through it. I'll say you need to take one of every factor in the denominator for your common denominator. Then you will change each numerator proportionate to the new denominator. What that means is that you will multiply each numerator by any of the other denominator factors that we're missing. Once you decide what you need to multiply the numerator times, you will multiply and simplify each numerator and then add or subtract the numerators. Be careful of signs. Then you will keep the common denominator. Let's look at some examples. In this first example, we're going to start off with something easy. As you can tell, we are adding here, and the denominators are the same. So 2x plus 5, 2x plus 5, those are common. That is a common denominator, so we don't have to do anything else with the denominator. Our common denominator will stay 2x plus 5, but then now we're going to add together the numerators. So 3x plus 1. Now, if we can factor anything here at the end, then you would do that, but this one is, they are linear terms that cannot factor, and so that is your final answer. All right, moving on to something a little more challenging. If you look at the two denominators, they are not the same, but if I write that second denominator as factors, that would be 5x times x minus 2. So when I'm looking at my common denominator, I want to take every factor unless it can be converted into it. So for example, like 5 and 10. Well, I'd want to take the 10 because 5 would just have to get multiplied by 2 to turn into a 10. Then if I look at my x, I've got an x and I have an x squared. We'll take the x squared because x can get turned into an x squared by multiplying by x. And then the last thing is that x minus 2, we have to take that as well. So then in each of the fractions, see what you have missing. Well, in this first fraction, I have 10x squared, but I need the x minus 2, so I'd have to multiply that numerator by x minus 2. In the second fraction, in order to get the 5 to turn into a 10, I would have to multiply the numerator by 2. Then to get the x to turn into an x squared, I'd also have to multiply by an x. And then it already has the x minus 2, so I don't need to multiply by anything else. So go ahead and simplify your numerator. So we're going to have 3x minus 6. I'm going to go ahead and distribute that 3. And then 2x times 2x, we're going to add 4x squared. At this point, you want to go ahead and put it in descending order. So we would have 4x squared plus 3x minus 6 all over 10x squared times x minus 2. At this point, I do want to see if I can divide anything out of the numerator or even just factor the numerator. It does not have a common factor. 4, 3, and 6, there's not a common factor there. If I multiply my a times my c and make my AC chart, that's going to be negative 24. And you'd have to have factors of negative 24 that add up to 3 in order for this to factor. So we would have negative 1 times 24. We'd have negative 2 times 12. We'd have negative 3 times 8. We'd have negative 4 times 6. but none of these add up to 3. And so therefore we know it does not factor. So this would be your final answer. All right, let's look at example 3. This is an addition problem. We want to go ahead and factor our denominators. So 9x squared, we'll leave that, but 3x squared plus 3x, we can divide out of 3x. And then we'd be left with x plus 1. Okay, so looking at our denominators, we need to get a common denominator. So if we look at the 3 and 9, we would want to take the 9 because we could multiply 3 times 3 to get 9. You always want to take the bigger number if they will go into one another. Then x and x squared, we want to take the x squared. And again, there you always want to take the one that has the highest degree. And then we also need to take that factor x plus 1. So now we're going to look at what we're missing. In the first fraction, we have 9x squared, but we're missing that x plus 1. So we're going to multiply the numerator times x plus 1, which of course would be multiplying the denominator times x plus 1, and so that's why I'm usually not going to write it down in the denominator, because we just need to be able to simplify the numerator at this point. Now 3x, we need that to be a 9x squared, so we need to multiply this times a 3x, and then we already have the x plus 1, so that's all we would need to multiply that fraction by. So now we have 7 times x plus 1, which is 7x plus 7. And then we have x times 3x. Now again, we've got that plus sign there, so don't forget, put plus, and then you'd have 3x squared. Rewrite the numerator in descending order, so 3x squared plus 7x plus 7 all over 9x squared times x plus 1. Then you'd want to see if you can factor. So I'd multiply my 3 times 7, which is 21, and you want to look for factors of 21 that would add up to 7. Well, that I only have 1 and 21 and 3 and 7, and neither one of those add up to 7, and so it does not factor, and there's your answer. Okay, let's look at this last example. Now in this last example, this is a subtraction. So here's what I want you to do every time you have a subtraction. I want you to distribute that negative to the second fraction and change this to a plus. So if I change that to a plus, that's going to make this negative and this negative. If you will do that at the beginning, you won't forget to distribute the negative, and so you won't have to worry about that. Go ahead and factor your denominators. So the first denominator will be 3 times x minus 5. The second denominator will be x minus 5 times x plus 1. Okay, now let's get our common denominator. So we have the 3. We also are going to have the x minus 5. But because it's also in that second denominator, we do not have to write it again. We only have to write it one time. And then we will be missing, or we'll need to take the x plus 1 as well. Okay, so now let's see what's missing in each of the fractions so that we can multiply it. So in this first fraction, we have a 3 and an x minus 5, but we also need the x plus 1. So we're going to multiply our numerator by x plus 1, multiply the denominator times x plus 1 as well. Then in the second fraction, we have x minus 5 and we have x plus 1. We need a 3. So multiply the top and the bottom by 3, and then now we'll have common denominators. Go ahead and distribute the x times the x plus 1, so that's x squared plus x. Then also distribute the 3 into both of these. So that would be a negative 6x and then minus 6. Go ahead and combine what you can in the numerator. So we have x squared minus 5x minus 6 all over 3 times x minus 5 times x plus 1. Now, x squared minus 5x minus 6, that does factor it as an x minus 6 times an x plus 1. And then we still have it over 3 times x minus 5 times x plus 1. Well, you can see that the x plus 1's cancel. And so now what we have is we have x minus 6 in the numerator divided by 3 times x minus 5. And so that is our final answer. All right. Hopefully you understand this video. The tricky part is just being able to get your common denominators. So please write down any questions that you have and come to class ready to work.